So I'm in my bathroom. I don't think I've made a video in here. I think I did make a video in here once, but I didn't post it. And the only reason why is because the lighting is a lot better than other places. And I'm just so like irritated and mad this morning that when I turned on my webcam to start to make a video, it just made me even angrier. And here's the irony, is that the video I want to make is about anger. So yeah, go figure, right? So I had to come to a place where the lighting was halfway decent and I didn't look like a ghost or a zombie, so that I could avoid getting even more irritated while making the video. Try not to anyways, because I'm already just like... But I guess that's the weird thing, is that I have no reason to be irritated or mad. And I just kind of woke up and had this weird, funny feeling in my head. And, you know, thinking about anger, I don't think I've talked much about anger on my channel at all. I think I might have made one video about it long ago, years ago. But it's a lot more pertinent to my life now, because in the past, when I was younger, I actually did not have any issues with anger whatsoever. Like, not that I didn't feel anger, because I did, obviously, everybody feels anger, but, when I was younger and stuff, I didn't have a problem controlling anger. Maybe that's like a better word. Like, I kind of was able to push it down and keep it inside, so I didn't like explode, or anything like that. But now I find that I have more of an issue with being angry, and I can see like it's kind of had a progression. Like, it's like three moods, I guess, that are all like linked together, and it starts out with being frustrated about something, because I have like a really low tolerance for frustration, and that's the truth. Like, as embarrassing as that is to admit, like, ever since I was a young person, I get frustrated really quickly with things and really easily, and it's just like really instant. It's kind of an instant thing. And maybe that has to do with like impulsivity or something. Not being able to like manage the frustration of stuff, because my girls are exactly the same way. They will just like flip out about stuff at the drop of a hat. And I'm like, that's how I was, right? So it starts out with being frustrated, and it doesn't take long after being frustrated before it moves up to just being like really irritated and kind of like agitated, like internally, like and then that turns into like full-blown anger, where I'm just like, you know, really mad. And it's so dumb, because it can be over just nothing. Excuse me. Like I say, this morning I woke up, like, I'm all alone in my house. Nobody's here irritating me. You know, there's nothing that's really going on. It's just like this feeling of like every single thing that I encounter is frustrating and irritating to me. Like, just junk lying around. It's like, oh, you know? Like, the stuff that I know I need to get done, I'm just like, oh, like, it's just that gross feeling inside. And so I'm walking around, and I'm just kind of like spouting off to myself, like, and it's a good thing that I'm alone, right? Because I don't want to be like snapping at anybody, but it's frustrating to feel so frustrated. And I don't know why some people have an issue with this. Now, over the years, a lot of people have contacted me for my channel and stuff, and talked to me about their anger and stuff. And so anger is not technically a part of like bipolar or a lot of other, you know, mental health conditions. But with the prevalence that people tell me that they deal with it, I really believe that maybe it's just a part of the emotional instability in general. I kind of think that. I kind of think that, you know, if you're prone to being really up and you're prone to being really down, you're also prone to being, you know, very angry. And so it's all of your emotions, I think, that just become heightened or stronger than they normally would in an average person. Slap myself, God. So, yeah. And it's not a problem for some people. Like, you know, a lot of people in my family, I will say this, have problems with impulse control in general. Um, but my dad is not one of them. My dad is like very calm and very patient, and he doesn't really get angry and blow up about stuff. And I've always been kind of like in awe of that, especially the last few years when I've been getting kind of like worse about like the irritation with stuff. Um, it's harder for me to manage it now. And so I look at my dad when he's all calm and encountering these situations and stuff, and he's not flipping out, and I'm like, how does he do it? Like, how does he do it, you know? But it just comes natural to him. It's not something he has to try to work at. Whereas with me, it's something I have to like consciously try to control and try to be aware of, that I'm irritated and that I'm frustrated, and it's going to lead to like me being really extremely angry and like having an outburst or something, which is not what I want. So I really have to try to control that, and it's very hard. And I remember the point where things changed, and I honest to God believe that something changed in my brain. And I've said that numerous times about different mental health things that I deal with, because stuff does change. You know, your brain is constantly changing, and especially in relation to experiences you have, you know, hormones in your body, chemicals in your body, all these different things can cause changes in your brain and body and stuff. And I'm really sensitive to stuff anyways, and so I often feel stuff in my brain. I may have said that in a video in the past, I can't remember, but I often feel things. And I don't know if it's the electrical activity in the brain that I'm feeling, or like a rush of chemicals into the brain, or what exactly it is, but I can feel a lot of times when stuff is happening. Yeah, I can feel it, and it's really weird. But I remember when I started having an issue with anger, it started with one incident. It's not like I was like getting angrier and angrier and angrier over time, I don't think. I mean, I may have been without realizing it, but I got into an argument with my ex at the time over something, and instantaneously I felt in my body like a white hot heat from my feet rise up through my head. Like, I had never felt anything like that before. It was just like up through me, and then it was like, once it like popped out my head, you know, I felt like this horrible raging anger, and I had never felt any kind of rage like that in my life. And it freaked me out. And after that, I swear to you, it has not been the same for me since that day. I find it a lot harder, like I say, to manage the frustration about things, irritation and anger and those things that all go together. Whereas in the past, I was able to keep it like below the surface. And something happened, flicked a switch in my brain, right, that just made me like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, like, okay, not totally. But I mean, if you're dealing with similar stuff, I think you can relate to what I'm going through. But it really sucks because, you know, anger is one of those things that's like, it's really off-putting to people. And even me, knowing that I have a problem getting frustrated, getting irritated about stuff, when I see other people that lose their temper, and when I see other people that can't control their anger, I want to avoid those people. And so I know if I come across that way to people, it makes them want to avoid me. And so it's one of those things that you really have to control. You can't let it like pop off unless you want to wind up alone. And it sucks because it is such a struggle to keep it like within like acceptable range, you know. So it's kind of like sometimes this roiling thing going on internally, and it's like, how do you release it, you know? You have to release it somehow. And so I guess I'm releasing it by venting right now instead of, you know, wandering around and screaming aloud, which, I mean, nobody's here, so I guess that'll be okay. I laugh about it, you know, it's not funny. I laugh about everything, but it's not funny, really. So anger, that's just kind of my 2 cents on my anger in general, frustration. and how I think it's kind of related to mood stuff, just generally speaking. I think a lot of people have this issue, and yeah, do you have any advice? Have you conquered anger? I don't know if anyone ever really does if they have an issue with anger. If you do, I would love to hear what your secrets are. How do you manage like your frustration to keep it from popping off and keep from just going nutty? I don't know exactly.